Again, just another wonderful thing to get you excited about some of the things coming up. And next week, the PRI Show in Indianapolis, Indiana, we're joined by the president of performance racing industry, Michael Good. Number one, thank you for taking time out of your day because we know that there's a lot that goes into planning a show the size and magnitude of PRI. But number two, thank you for, as Francis and Judy were saying, we can't think of a better way to really end this year's Race Industry Week by perfectly transitioning into what has been a long-standing tradition for the motorsports industry.
Yes, well put. And before we jump into PRI, I just have to commend all of you guys, Francisque, Judy, and all of the hosts. I've been watching from afar all week, and it's been phenomenal what you've done and the conversations you've had, the people you've been able to bring together. It truly is a great representation of the whole ecosystem of motorsports, and I just think that's been tremendous. And hearing, Michael Cobb and Doug Bowles and Doonan and those guys tell their stories and what's going on in their parts of the world has just been profound. And that's what our industry is all about. And so very excited to be here and appreciate that. And yes, a week from right now, we'll be coming to the end of day one of the PRI show. So it starts next Thursday morning. So it's an exciting time for sure.
Yeah, it is an exciting time. You guys have a lot of new things this year, and we could talk about them one by one from the paddock to the Tops HQ and a lot of different things. But I'd almost like to just kind of let you give us an overview of some of the things that are pretty exciting and new for 2025.
Sure. Can gladly do that. I would say. So it's PRI week, really. There's a lot going on the front end on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, even before the PRI show officially starts Thursday morning. And so a lot of exciting. There's an organization called WIMNA, Women in Motorsports of North America, with Lynn St. James and Cindy Sisson. They're having their annual summit. And Black Book Motorsports is doing their first ever summit the day before PRI here in Indianapolis. First time they've been on U.S. soil. So those are exciting. And then Thursday morning, to kick things off in the spirit of 37 years of PRI, the grand opening breakfast is we have our grand finale at the beginning, if you will. And our grand opening breakfast will be starting at 7:30 a.m. Thursday morning. And to be quick about that, we'll be doing our second year. Last year, I launched our PRI Hall of Fame. To really just pay homage and respect to those that are helping really build this industry. We'll have our second Hall of Fame. And unlike SEMA and some of the other organizations, we kind of keep it under wraps until that morning of who the honorees are. So that's always an exciting time. And then that's followed up by a name that everyone in the industry and out of the industry knows. Mario Andretti will be our keynote. And, personally, I moved to Indiana in 1984. I was 11 years old. It was April of 84. And I had never been in the 8500. My dad took me. And at that moment, I was drawn to Mario and his car and seeing him in his interviews. And he didn't have that great of a race in 1984. I think he finished 17th. But I've been a huge fan ever since. So to see now he's going to be on stage at the PRI show, that's just tremendous. And then there's a whole series of other things going on at the show that we can tap into if you'd like.
Yeah, for sure. And truthfully, I can't think of a better way to kick it off than with a legend such as Mario Andretti,
Right.
and a man who's touched so many different forms of motorsports, obviously from IndyCar to Formula One to NASCAR, and continues to be involved. That's the great thing about it as well, because he's not speaking from, hey, here's what happened 40 years ago. He's speaking from, here's what's happened in the last 40 years up until now.
Right. No, he is a true he's the guy, the litmus test of what's going on in the industry today, as much as he is a historian of what's happened to get us to today. And I think it's just been wonderful. He's been a great steward of motorsports across all facets of racing. To your point, he's raced everything with wheels and, off-road, you name it. He's gotten in those cars and won. And so that's going to be a really, really cool element to kick the show off.
Yeah, I think it is as well. I would like to also open it up for anyone who might be viewing us live right now. If you have a question, just feel free to type it into the chat. And I say that, Michael, because with the show coming up next week, I know, I'm sure you guys get flooded with a lot of things, but we definitely, in the true spirit of an industry trade show, we want to make sure that we have as much back and forth as possible.
100%. As long as they don't pop up in the chat asking for a hotel room, I'll do whatever I can to help them out.
Oh, you mean you can't get me like a nice high floor over at the JW?
I think the JW sold out in like 7 minutes back in July when the hotel registration opened up. It was pretty nuts. And to talk a little bit about that, so this is our 37th show, but this is our 20th show in Indianapolis. We were here for a number of years, left, went to Orlando, came back in 2013, and we've been here ever since. And in total, this will be our 20th show we've had in Indy. And it's the largest show we've ever had in Indianapolis as well. So this is going to be a blockbuster of a year. It's going to be just great to have the whole industry together under one roof. And we do have a lot of new elements. One of the interesting, fun things we're doing, similar to this, is called the PRI Paddock. It's a stage kind of under the hanging car area when you come in off of Capitol. And Ken Stout, a name in the industry, is going to be the MC, and we'll be conducting, I think we have 22 interviews over the 3 days, but he'll also be out walking around with a microphone, engaging with people, and really creating a kind of a unique experience. So we're really excited about that. And we have that stage is flanked by 5 different types of racing vehicles, from drift to trophy truck, really representing I always say PRI is agnostic. We don't have a favorite form of racing. So we meet with everyone from the go-karting world to the F1 and everything in between. And it's born out of grassroots, but there's so much that grassroots feeds the upper echelons of racing. And, so we just really try to bring it all together. And so, yeah, lots going on at the show.
Yeah, let me encourage people, by the way, to be there at 9 a.m. Thursday, because that's when you're scheduled to be on the stage, Michael.
Well, so 9 a.m. is when the doors open to the show. The breakfast starts at 7:30 a.m. and goes till 9 a.m. So there will be a standing room only. The breakfast Sagamore Ballroom holds about 3,000 people. It'll end up being standing room only, but that is free to anyone that's coming to the show. I would just suggest getting there early to make sure you get a seat and get a nice free breakfast.
Yeah, I think that would be a great thing. One of the other things I'm pretty really interested in as well, because this is more of the side that I come from, and it's TOPS, which is an acronym
Yes.
for what is it? Track operators, promoters, and sanctioning bodies. And
Yep.
I mean, several different conferences and a lot of things going on with that. Tell us more.
Sure. So the TOPS program, that's one that's near and dear to me. I'm a huge fan of it. You might know Tom Deary. Tom's played a role in really helping us shape and evolve and grow TOPS. And Tom's like the OG of racing. And everywhere I go with him, I jokingly said it's like walking through Rome with the Pope when you're at a racetrack with Tom Deary. But everyone knows him. But we've really worked this year. We've spent a lot of time meeting with sanctioning bodies. We've been to over 100 events this year, meeting with track owners and promoters and going to safety summits all over the United States. And the TOPS program is really a culmination of bringing all of that together. We'll have well over, I think it's 150 to 200 sanctioning bodies in the TOPS program, well over 200 track promoters and owners. And we're going to be covering everything from advancement and how to run your tracks and some things you can do from a promotion standpoint, to a safety council talking about some of the safety issues. So it'll be a lot of really valuable content, and it's going to be a lot of the right people in the room. We have some panel discussions with folks like John Doonan and Michael Cobb, and folks that run sanctioning bodies and what they're faced with on a safety side. So the TOPS is going to be excellent. It's a growing area in the show. I would say it's a growth area, if you will, and couldn't be more excited about it.
All right, so I'm curious to what your thought is on this, and this could really apply to anyone, no matter how long they've been going to PRI, because everyone has their own experience. But I'll ask this in the spirit of a first-time attendee. And if I was a first-time attendee at PRI, what would you tell me on how to get the most out of the show?
So I would come in with a plan. There's a great app. There's tons of our websites. It's 1.2, 1.1 million square feet. It takes over all of the Indianapolis Convention Center and all of Lucas Oil Stadium and the connector in between. And I'd really come in with a plan of attack. So there's 2 large exhibiting rooms, and then there's the the Lucas Oil Stadium, where the trailers and the rigs and the sim arena is. It's kind of a shock and awe. But definitely the main corridors around where like the NHRA stage is and the PRI Paddock, there's a lot going on there. But really do your homework before you walk in the building, I think would be my first advice, because we have over 120 educational sessions going on in 3 days. And a lot of times you'll see somebody on Saturday and they're like, oh my gosh, I had no idea that those classes were going on Thursday. I really wished I would have gone to them. So there's a little bit of that. For the younger, we're doing a lot with the next gen, trying to really attract the next generation in the motorsports. We've evolved our Friday morning program. We have a full student track that runs on Friday morning from 8 a.m. all the way to 1 p.m. And there's some breakout sessions. And so a lot of really valuable nuggets throughout the show. Obviously, there's those manufacturers you want to go and visit and talk to and learn more about. But yeah, I would say, as somebody that's been on the other side and been an exhibitor, in my previous life and done so at SEMA and at PRI, it's invaluable to have a little bit of a plan of attack to come in there. And because, we have a brand new element called Hammertown. I don't know if you've ever been to King of the Hammers
Not yet.
in January or February. If you've never been, add it to your bucket list. It's unlike anything I've ever been to. And but we're doing an off-road element at the show that's going to be really neat. It's a brand new event, and that's going to surprise a lot of people, just because we haven't had that off-road element at PRI for quite some time. And I'm really wanting to bring that back, and I'm really wanting to make sure that we're representing all forms of racing, from go-karting to a trophy truck, and that it's not just one form that's highly represented. I'm trying to get it diversified, I guess is a good way to put it. So, if you just walk in, credential in hand, no homework, you're going to have a little bit of a deer in the headlights moment of say, gosh, I don't even know which way to go.
Yeah, but I love that advice though, that have a plan and have an idea of where people are going to be and different things like that. I mean, that really helps shape the experience. And to your point, you don't want to miss something. You don't want to find out about something Saturday that happened Thursday.
And I will say, it's there right now. It's performanceracing.com is our website. You can go see the floor plan. You can see all the listings of educational classes. You can see where an exhibitor is in the building. If you want to make sure you go get to, Edelbrock or whatever, exactly where they are. It's all there. It's just a matter of sometimes we got to lead the witness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You mentioned earlier about PRI coming back to Indianapolis back in 2013. And I remember when that happened. I mean, it was so well received and a lot of people thrilled about that. But let's talk about the impact that the show and PRI has had on Indianapolis itself.
Sure. It's been tremendous. In the city of Indy, I might come off a little biased. I've lived here for, a high majority of my life, but I really have seen them firsthand roll out the red carpet, so to speak, for PRI, and they understand, the impact. So we bring in over $70 million in economic impact to the city in a week, and we're doing that in the month of December in Indiana. And so to be candid, if PRI were to go away, you're probably not going to replace that revenue as a city during that time of year. And they've the hotels, the restaurants, all the hospitality, even the public safety, the police, everything has just been rolling it all out for us. There's a brand new, hopefully you'll be at PRI and everyone will see it. There's a brand new hotel called the Signia that's going up literally right next door to the convention center. And it's a Signia by Hilton. It's still under construction, so we won't have access to it this year, but that's a testament to the city's investment in making sure that trade organizations and trade shows and conferences have all of the amenities needed to have a successful event. And that's an investment that they're making in doing that. And, you talked about the JW and Phil and the guys over at the JW and Weston, all of them really make sure that, this is going to be an impactful, positive experience for the attendees and for the restaurants. You walk in St. Elmo's or any of the restaurants, they'll tell you it's one of their best weeks of the year. So that's a testament to the people too, the attendees, that they're coming here with their treasure and their resources, and they're really investing in the city and making the most of it. And then the last piece about it is the connectivity of everything. You can get through a lot of different areas in downtown Indianapolis without even stepping outside. It is there's some white stuff on the ground here right now, but it is supposed to be in the I think in the high 30s and low 40s next week, so that'll be much more tolerable than it is today.
I'll bet. And truthfully, downtown Indianapolis, Indy really has a great downtown. And even if it's cold, it's still fun to walk and check out a lot of the different things that are going on over there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Enjoy that. Well, we know PRI is just really 1 week a year, but it's really all year as well. Can you tell us about some of the initiatives that you guys have had?
Sure. It's when I first took over this role, it was brought up in a meeting that the show is what this company is all about. And I said, well, there's 51 other weeks in the year where PRI does a lot and can be doing even more. And as an example, last year we rolled out 3 big initiatives last summer that are still in heavy effect right now. And the 3 were sanctioning bodies. We really wanted to make sure that we had a more intentional relationship with the sanctions across various different forms of racing to truly understand what are their strategies, what is it they're trying to do to grow their organizations, and how can we be an ally and be an assistant to that and be an evangelist, really. They have an audience. You take like John Doonan at IMSA, who's just amazing at his job and what he does, or Doug Bowles at IndyCar. When we sit down with these folks, we don't have our hand out asking for anything. It's really more of a help me help you. We have a different reach. Let us take your message out to our population and help you drive that. And then the second initiative is along the same lines, the first one being sanctions, the second one being tracks. There's roughly over 1,200 racetracks across the United States. Some of those racetracks are hand to mouth. They are paycheck to paycheck survival, and we want to help those guys thrive. And, we're at a time right now where there's a lot of things going on, whether it's politically or based off of legislation. One example is nuisance laws. That's a big thing right now in racing, where a track's been out in the middle of nowhere for 50 years. A developer came in and built a really nice development 3 miles from it, and a homeowner files a noise ordinance because 20 nights a year there's some noise going a couple miles away. Those things can shut a track down. And so PRI, we have a whole advocacy group out in Washington, D.C. that fights for that legislation, for the rights of those tracks to keep doing what they're doing. And so we could go on and on that, but that's a really big deal to protect the racetracks. That's where our people are. That's where whether you're the manufacturer, the race team, the track, the sponsor, the track is where you are bringing everything to life. And so we really want to covet that and protect them. And then the third one I already spoke about a little bit was this next generation initiative. And it was more than just trying to put a couple educational programs at the show. We've gone out and met just over the past 20 months with well over 100 both higher ed institutions like Purdue and UNC and Clemson and Alabama, Notre Dame, to really understand. Some of them have motorsports engineering programs. We're also meeting with local trade organizations that have a trades degree that you can get. We're meeting with all of them saying, let us help you. Let us be a voice to help bring more attraction to what your programs that you're offering, whether you are training somebody to go over the wall in the pits, or whether you are training somebody to be the highest level of aerodynamic design engineers. We can be an advocate for that. And the last point on that, then I'll be quiet. The success of that has been beyond expectation. We have over 120 higher ed institutions and trade organizations that will be in attendance at the PRI show this year. And that is at the dean administrative level of those universities. And then we already have well over 500 or 600 students that are going to be coming to the show to go through that track. And, that's a pivotal thing. Everyone that I talk to, whether it's a manufacturer, a sanction, or a track, some of them are having trouble finding talent and hiring and getting people to be all in on the industry. So long-winded, sorry, it's a fault of mine, but it's there's so much to it, and it's a really exciting thing to see a lot of it, see the fruits of our labor start to show.
Yeah, no, but it's so important as well. And, you think about all of the experience and knowledge that we have. Well, we need to have a lot of new, fresh young people coming in that we could pass that knowledge along to and allow them to have their fresh ideas. And, I've talked to crew chiefs at NASCAR teams that have said, first, finding engineers who might be qualified to do this is one thing. But
Right.
secondly, they don't necessarily have the experience. They might have the engineering qualifications, but then we have to train them, and all of a sudden things take time. It's great to have these education programs, especially universities with motorsports programs, because we are in a very technical world that can really, if nothing else, maybe a fresh engineer is not going to come in running, but at least they're going to be walking at a pretty fast pace.
That's right. That's right. And so, that's a lot of the excitement. There's actually an initiative. If you were in my office, you'd see it written on my whiteboard. It's called the 51 Initiative. And it's really what are all the things that we as an organization can and should be doing, because we're a trade organization. We're a 501c6. And it's not about generating profit. It's about helping protect. I say we do three things: connect, protect, and advocate for the motorsports industry. And so, it's what can we be doing to really drive that home? And it's exciting.
Yeah, yeah, I love the advocacy on every front, the nuisance
Yes.
and different things like that, and bringing in new people as well. What can you tell us about the motorsport impact study that you launched back in June?
Oh, man, that was pretty shocking. What all came out of that? We felt like there was a gap, and we did it at the core. We did it to help the local tracks build a business case for the importance of their existence in wherever they were. We learned so much more. So we went in with kind of a couple hypotheses to try to address, and we ended up with this wealth of information. And so this report's free. It's on our website. You can click on it, and it's a infographic map that you can drill down. You can look at the entire United States. You'll see that we roughly are just under $70 billion in economic impact to the United States as an industry, and supporting over 318,000 careers, jobs within the motorsports industry in the domestic U.S. And that's at the United States level. But then you can drill down to the state of Indiana. I'm sitting in Indiana, so I'm using that in any state. And then to the county level, or to the congressional level, or the House level. And so when you think about a congressman or a senator or a representative on any side of the political aspect of a given geographic region in the United States, we're giving them knowledge, we're giving them factual data. This was all done through an outside third party. It's not us doing it. And it was a significant investment, but the impact's been profound. Motorsports is a significant economic driver in the United States, and it does create jobs, and it is a force. And sometimes you've got to reload your gun and to tell that story, if you will. And that's really what the motorsports industry study did. And it was a really interesting outcome. We were really excited about it, and it's been very well received.
That is really neat, and it's amazing too. Where I live here in North Texas, I live in Wise County. I'm
Sure.
10 miles away from Texas Motor Speedway. I'm about a half a mile away from a little dirt karting track called Cam Kartway. I'm about 3 miles away from Boyd Raceway, and then there's a motocross track not too far from me. It's amazing how much motorsports can actually be around you, but to also see the impact that it does have on the community.
That's right. And a lot of times it's not necessarily like, yeah, it's cool to see what the Indianapolis with the Indy 500 or Daytona with the big mega tracks, the economic impact in those given regions. But to your point, the little track in the middle of nowhere, that you had a Knoxville Nationals, Knoxville Speedway was on right before I came on, and I was watching that interview, and I don't know if you've ever been to that event, and you should go to that one as well. It's spectacular. But that is a racetrack literally right in the heart of the town. The houses are 20 feet across the street, and it's actually shocking. But the town embraces it, and the Knoxville Nationals have become one of the top, dirt sprint car events you can go to. That, there's Eldora and other places, but Eldora is another example. Tony Stewart's track that he has made significant investment in and really reinvented that location. And they're packing the house. And I don't know if you've ever been to Eldora, but it's not a place you get to by accident. It's in the middle of nowhere. And yet when you go there, you're like, oh my gosh, who's not here? Everyone is there. So it's really interesting to be able to now put some factual data to help support these tracks and these different regions with that type of information.
That's fantastic about really what PRI does to support the industry, because, and I'm glad we're here talking about it, because most of our focus is what's going to happen next week in Indianapolis, and something people highly anticipate and rightfully so. But all the advocacy, all the things that happen throughout the year, what PRI does to help support the industry also, Michael, that's just incredible.
Yes. You being in Texas, you guys have a pretty neat IndyCar race that's coming in March, I believe. That's going to be pretty exciting.
Yes, we do. Right in Arlington, Texas, right around Cowboy Stadium and all that. If I wasn't going to be, I think I'm in Las Vegas that weekend for NASCAR. I can promise you I would be. That was one of the things when I saw the date, I was like, no, but it's going to be awesome.
I know we're getting ready to wrap up. I did want to just call out Brad. I've watched you for a long time. It's a true pleasure to be able to engage with you and have a conversation with you. I appreciate that. You're very, very good at your trade. So
thank you
John,
so
well
much.
done.
That means everything. And likewise from the compliments I hear from Judy and Francisque and all of that. So it's great to connect with you, Michael.
Likewise.
Thank you very much. What a great way to end the Race Industry Week, Michael. So we look forward to seeing you next week in Indy. We'll be there. We'll be exhibiting with all the other companies on the celebration of the racing industry. So can't wait to be in Indy next week.
Hey, we want to thank you for watching. Now, be sure to like, subscribe, and click on the bell so you're always up to date with the latest racing technology, industry insights, and exclusive content from EPARTRADE. In racing, every second counts. This is EPARTRADE, the premier business-to-business platform for the performance and racing industry. We connect buyers and suppliers 24/7 worldwide. Racing never stops, neither do we. Discover cutting-edge products and services from around the globe, gaining insights from our live platform, daily newsletters, weekly webinar series, and our highly anticipated annual Race Industry Week. EPARTRADE.com. The racing industry, every minute, every day.
Let's go, boys.
How many kings have we got racing today?
All of them.
I got nothing to lose.
As you can see, we've had another beautiful day on the Isle of Man.
We'll do some racing this weekend. It's going to be a blast.
ARP, the ultimate fasteners for whatever you build. To get the best performance, always follow ARP's installation instructions included with the product. For the latest torque specs, go to arpinstructions.com.
When it comes to pushing the limits of performance, the pros know there's no room for compromise. At Crowder Cams, we don't just engineer camshafts and valve train components, we redefine what power means. Since 1955, Crowder Cams has been the name trusted by racers, engine builders, and gearheads around the globe. Whether you're building a street machine, a dragster, or a track car, Crowder Cams provides the muscle you need to dominate. And with Crowder, victory is within your reach.
Not all trailer cabinets are built for the long road ahead. Aluminum Econo trailer cabinets from C-Tech Manufacturing are engineered to last and ready to ship today. Each Econo cabinet is packed with exclusive features like motion latch drawers and gasket lock countertops, all made under one roof in our Wisconsin headquarters. Shop Econo online today.
If you're watching this video, you might be wondering, what is WPC? WPC is a surface treatment designed to reduce friction and increase the strength of metal parts. As much as it might seem like a coating, WPC is actually a surface treatment. Think of it like shot painting, but the media is much finer, like talc. So what you're left with is a super hard, smooth surface that actually has some proprietary dry lubricants embedded within it. For more information, visit WPCtreatment.com.
Scott Lewis & Associates, the sales, marketing, and branding specialist for the automotive performance industry since 1988. We get our manufacturers on track by opening an extensive distribution network, providing product training to sales staff, creating fully integrated sales and marketing strategies, building successful industry partnerships, attending trade shows, events, and races, offering first-class support to customers. SLAI delivers solutions that win you sales. To get in touch with an SLAI representative, call 516-378-6100. Go to scottlewisinc.com or email info@scottlewisinc.com.
With roots in the Midwest that date back well before the Model T, Fifth Third Bank has a long history of serving the needs of automotive companies. While much has changed over the years, our passion for helping businesses put cars on the road and on the track has not. Today, we are more committed than ever as a member of SEMA, a founding member of PRI, and a sponsor of multiple race teams across several racing series.
For over a decade, Fifth Third Bank has been a staunch supporter of our industry and a great partner for many companies in the motorsports field.
Our business has been growing extremely fast, and really we could not be where we are today without Fifth Third. They provided amazing strategic advice, the capital we need to support our phases of growth.
They are true partners for me now, and what they do with their involvement in motorsports is untouched in this community.
Where can we take your business? Fifth Third Bank.
Your whole day rides on your diesel truck. Don't let anything slow it down. Keep life and drive with America's #1 DEF brand. Only Blue DEF products are triple filtered and guaranteed pure. And Blue DEF Platinum helps prevent deposits before they create problems. So nothing stands between you and the day, wherever it takes you. Count on Blue DEF and Blue DEF Platinum. Guaranteed for what drives you.